Hello everyone, welcome to Learning with Reese. This series is going to be focused on learning Python. So for our first program today, I'm creating all my stuff in the website or using the website, the IDE called replit.com. And on here, we will be building a bunch of different Python programs. So our first program that we're creating together today is going to introduce us to Python itself and to working with variables. So first thing I need to do is go and create a brand new program. I'm going to create it in Python, and then I need to give it a name. So right now it gives me a default name of kind yummy exponent, which doesn't really make any sense for this. So I'm going to go and call this video 1 intro variables. I create it. Now it creates my blank program. So I have 3 sections here. On the left-hand side, this is going to show all my files. First couple of programs, at least we create, we're only ever going to have one file. So I'm going to create some more space and just move this over and hide it. The next window right here, this is where I actually type in my code. And then the window over here, this is what would be showing to the user running our program. So I'm going to make my code window a little bit bigger, and then I can start. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and print something to my screen. I'm going to go and print, and I'm going to say the message of hello world. Now when we're printing something, if I want to output text, I have to go and put it inside quotation marks. So I type in hello world. I click run, and over here in our console, we can see that hello world has shown up. Great, you created your very first program. Didn't do much. It literally just goes and tells you, hello world, but it is our first program. So let's try adding to this program. Let's make it a little more interactive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and ask the user to enter in their first name. I'm then going to go and store their first name into something called a variable. Variables allow us to go and actually hold a message, and then we're going to go and output it a message back to the user. So I'm going to type out a message. So welcome to our program. And then I'm going to say input, because I'm going to ask them for their input. Could you please tell us your first name? So I'm going to ask them their first name. So I'm going to test it out. And we'll see, could you please ask us your first name? And it's sitting there waiting. So I can go and type in my first name, and I'll say is Henry. But it doesn't do anything with it. As well, we'll notice that it says name and then Henry, and there's no space. So what I like to do is I'll put in a colon and a space. Anytime I'm asking for input, I like to do a colon and a space. It just makes the formatting a lot better. So I'm asking them for their first name, but I'm not storing it anywhere. So I need to declare what's called a variable, and that's going to allow me to store their first name, and then I can use it later. So that's what I'm going to do. So before I type in the word input, I'm going to declare a variable, and I'm going to go and call my variable first name. And I'm going to make it equal to whatever they type in. Now that I've brought it in, I'm going to go and say a customized message back to them with their first name. So print, nice to meet you. And now I need to put in their name. To do that, I'm going to put it outside the quotation marks. The quotation marks are just straight text that I'm outputting. The computer is not really caring what I put in there. Now I want to output their first name that we've gone and stored in this variable called first name. So to do that, I need to put in a comma, and then I type in the name of the variable, and it shows up right here, first name. Now I'll run it. It says, hello world, welcome to our program. Could you please tell us your first name? My first name is Henry. We're going to say, nice to meet you, Henry. Great. We've now made a program that is a little more interactive. we were able to bring in a variable. Now, I'm going to make it a little bit more. I'm going to go and ask them, after they typed in their first name, nice to meet you, first name, and then I'm going to say, could you please share with us your favorite color? So, I'm asking them a question. So I can't use print anymore. I have to use input. And then what am I asking for? I'm asking for their favorite color. So I'm going to declare a variable called color. Now I bring in their first color. And now I can use it once again to output a message to them. So print. And I'm going to say, that's an interesting choice for a favorite color. Interesting choice of, comma, color. So it's going to say that's an interesting choice of, say they type in orange, of orange for your favorite color. Let's test it out. Run. Could you please tell us your first name? Henry. Oh, and it's given me a problem. Well, what does it say? It says input expected at most 1 argument. Got 3. So what it's telling me is when I'm doing my input statement, I have 1 argument, nice to meet you, my second argument of first name, and then my third argument, could you please share us your favorite color? I can't do that apparently. I need to put it all into 1 line. Now this is one of the most important things about programming, is learning how to fix your mistakes. So I made a mistake. I could not do that. Instead, I'm going to have to go and change this back. I'm just going to keep this as a print statement. So it'll say print, nice to meet you, Henry. Could you please share with us your favorite color? And now what I'm going to do is I will bring in their favorite color. So I'm going to do color equals input. And all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put a colon. So it's going to sit there waiting for them. Now watch what happens. So I've gone and fixed my mistake. Could you please tell us your first name? Henry. Nice to meet you, Henry. Could you please share with us your favorite color? And it sits there with a prompt waiting for us. I'm going to say it is green. That's an interesting choice of green for your favorite color. There's my interactive program. Now, sometimes we don't want to bring in text. We want to go and ask them a message that works with numbers. So, I'm going to do that now. But before I do, my code is already starting to get a little jumbled. I'm going to go and try to space it out a little bit more so it makes it a little bit easier to read. So, when I'm bringing in something, I'm going to put a little comment in here. Well, I'm going to put a space, and I'm also going to go and put what's called a comment or documentation. To do that, I put in the pound or the hashtag, and I'm going to just put in a comment. And comments are for us, the programmer. They're not for the computer. The computer will completely ignore it. So what I'm going to say is ask the user for their first name. And then down here, before I bring in this input, ask the user for their favorite color. It just gives a little bit of comment here so that when we're going and looking at our program, we can see what's going on. Because if you have a program of hundreds and hundreds or thousands of lines of code, it can get really easy to get lost in it. This way it makes it easier to read our code. Now, I'm going to go and ask them for one more thing. I'm going to go and ask them for their age. So I'm going to ask for their age, and I'm going to say input. Could you now share with us how old you are? What we're going to do is we're going to bring in our age, and then we're going to figure out how old they will be 5 years from now. So let's try that out. So I'm going to bring it in, their age, and then I'm going to go and try to add 5 to it, and then output it. We're going to see what happens. So I'm going to say new age, and you'll notice I capitalized the A just like I capitalized the N here. When we're working with multiple words, it's common practice to always go and capitalize the first letter. Makes it much easier to read. Versus if I didn't capitalize, I'm looking at a word newage, doesn't make any sense. But here, new age equals age plus 5. And now I'm going to output back to the user what the answer is going to be. Print. Did you know that in 5 years you will be output new age years old? And let's try running it and see what happens. First name. Today I'm going to change my name and I'm going to be Greg. Favorite color, I'm going to say is green. Now can you share with us how old you are? I'm going to say I am 18. And our program gives us a problem. And it says type error can only connotate str, not int to str. So I did this intentionally. I created an error. What it's saying is we're bringing in a string. A string is any collection of characters you can type on your keyboard. So the letter G, the letter K, the number 2, an exclamation point, a semicolon. Those are all strings. They're all characters. But we want to bring in numbers. So what we have to do is we have to go and change the text coming in and say this is special text, this is numbers only. So we have to go and convert it. So that's what we're going to do. So when I bring it in here, I'm going to say age is equal to, we're bringing in an integer. So I type in int, it told me that right over here with int. I put a bracket around it and I close my bracket. Now what I'm telling the computer is, whatever the input that comes in right here, this is going to be special input. This is going to be a number. So convert that string into a number and store it as a number. So now age is holding a number. A number plus a number, I can do that. I'll try running it again and I'll see if it fixes the mistake. Greg, green, tells how old you are. I'm saying 18. Did you know that in 5 years you'll be 23 years old? It fixed my mistake. Great. Now, one thing I don't like, how old are you? I forgot to put in the colon and the space. So I'm going to do that right now. You will be 23 years old. Great. So there's a good part of our first project. Now, our first program. I want to do a couple more things and then we'll be done for the day. I want to go and do some other things with our number that we brought in with our age. So new age, age plus 5. I'm also going to tell them how many years it will take until they are 40 years old. So I'm going to do my variable. I'm going to go and call 40 years old is equal to 40 subtract their age. Now it doesn't like this name because I forgot you cannot start the name of a variable with a number. So I'm going to go and say, I'm just going to use the variable new age again. New age equals 40 minus age. And I will output it to him, print in new age years, you will be 40 years old. And let's see what happens. I run it. First name, Greg. Favorite color is going to be orange now. 18. Did you know in 5 years you'll be 23 years old, and in 22 years you will be 40 years old? So I did some subtraction here, and I did addition. I'm going to do multiplication and division, and then my program's going to be done. So new age. See, I can keep on using the same variable over and over again. I just keep on changing what I'm storing in my variable called new age. At first, it was their age in 5 years. Then how many more years to be 40. Now what I'm going to say is if I double their age, so that is going to be equal to age multiply by 2. And I'm going to print it. And I'm going to say if you doubled your age, you would be, comma, new age years old. And then lastly, I'm going to say new age equals age divided by 2. It's a little slash right here. It means division. Print if you halved your age, you would be new age years old. I'll run it again. First name, I was saying orange, and I'm going to say that I am 25 years old. There we go, I'll change. Did you know in 5 years you'd be 30 years old? Yes, I would be. In 15 years, yeah, that's right. If you doubled your age, you'll be 50. And then if you halved your age, you'd be 12.5 years old, because you can't divide 25 by 2 evenly, so it gives us a half year. In our next program, we might take a look at how do we solve that. How would we just round it up to 13 years? But for now, that works. So, thank you for joining me, everyone. Hopefully this introduced you to a lot of the valuable first skills in writing your Python program. And there will be an assignment that goes along with what we've done today. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye-bye.